Chapter 21. The Book on Military Expeditions. Chapter 1. What has been related about calling to Islam before fighting. Narrated Abu al-Bakhtari. An army from the armies of the Muslims, whose commander was Salman al-Farisi, besieged one of the Persian castles. They said, "O Abu Abdullah, should we charge them?" He said, "Leave me to call them to Islam, as I heard the messenger of Allah call them." So Salman went to them and said, "I am only a man from among you, a Persian, and you see that the Arabs obey me. If you become Muslims, then you will have the likes of what we have, and from you will be required that which is required from us. If you refuse and keep your religion, then we will leave you to it, and you will give us the jizya from your hands while you are submissive." He said to them in Persian, "And you are other than praiseworthy, and if you refuse, then we will equally resist you." They said, "We will not give you the jizya, we will fight you instead." So they said, "O Abu Abdullah, should we charge them?" He said, "No." He said, so for 3 days he called them to the same things, and then he said, "Charge them." He said, so we charged them, and we conquered the castle. Great Daif. Chapter 2. The prohibition of attacking if a Majid is seen or the Adhan is heard. Narrated Ibn Asim al-Musani. From his father, and he was a companion, who said, when the messenger of Allah dispatched any army or battalion, he would say to them, "If you see a Majid or hear someone calling the Adhan, then do not kill anyone." Great Daif. Chapter 3. Regarding nighttime and surprise attacks. Narrated Anas. When the messenger of Allah set out for Khaybar, he approached it at night, and when he came to a people during the night, he would not attack them until morning. So when the morning came, the Jews came out with their shovels and baskets. Then when they saw him, they said, "Muhammad, by Allah, Muhammad has come with the Qamis, an army." So the messenger of Allah said, "Allahu Akbar, Khaybar is destroyed. For whenever we approach the land of people, then what an evil morning for those who have been warned." Great Sahih. Narrated Abu Talha. When the Prophet overtook a people, he would stay at the outskirts of their city for 3 nights. Great Sahih. Chapter 4. Regarding burning and destroying. Narrated Ibn Umar. The messenger of Allah burnt the palm trees of Bani Nadir and cut them down at Al-Buwayda. So Allah revealed, "Whatever you cut down of their palm trees, or you left them standing on their trunks, then it was by the permission of Allah and in the order to disgrace the rebellious." 59:5. Great Sahih. Chapter 5. What has been related about the spoils of war. Narrated Abu Umama, that the Prophet said, "Verily Allah has honored me over the other prophets," or he said, "my nation over the nations, and he has made the spoils of war lawful for us." Great Hassan. Another chain from Abu Huraira, who narrated that the Prophet said, "I have been honored over the prophets with 6 things. I have been given Jawami al-Kalam, I have been aided by the ability to cause in the enemy fright. The spoils of war have been made lawful for me. The earth has been made as a majid and purifier for me. And I have been sent to all creatures, and with me prophethood is sealed. Great Hassan. Chapter 6. The shares given for the horse. Narrated Ibn Umar. The Messenger of Allah divided the spoils as 2 shares for the horse and 1 share for the man. Great Sahih. Another chain with similar meaning. There are narrations on this topic from Jami bin Jariya, Ibn Abbas and Ibn Abi Amra from his father. This hadith of Ibn Umar is a Hassan Sahih hadith. This is acted upon according to most of the people of knowledge among the companions of the Prophet and others. This is the view of Sufyan at-Tawri, al-Awsa'i, Malik bin Anas, Ibn al-Mubarak, Ash-Shafi, Ahmad and Ishaq. They said that the horseman gets 3 shares. 1 share is for him and 2 shares for his horse. The foot soldiers get 1 share. Chapter 7. What has been related about the Saraya military unit. Narrated Ibn Abbas that the Messenger of Allah said, the best companions are 4. The best Saraya military unit is 400. The best army is 4,000. And 12,000 will not be beaten due to being too few. This hadith is Hassan Gharib. It was not narrated with a chain by anyone important besides Jarir bin Hasim, and this hadith was only reported from As-Suri from the Prophet. In Mursal form, Hibban bin Ali al-Anasi reported it from Ukail, from As-Suri, from Ubaidullah, from Ibn Abbas, from the Prophet, and Al-Layth bin Sa'd reported it from Sa'd, from Ukail, from As-Suri, from the Prophet in the Mursal form. Great Da'if. Chapter 8. About who is given spoils of war. Al-Fay. Narrated Yazid bin Hurmus that Najda al-Haruri wrote to Ibn Abbas asking if the Messenger of Allah would fight along with women, and if he would fix a share of the spoils of war for them. Ibn Abbas wrote to him, "You wrote to me asking me if the Messenger of Allah would fight along with women. He did fight along with them, as they would treat the wounded. They received something from the spoils of war, but as for their share, then he did not fix a share for them." There is something on this topic from Anas and Atiyah. This hadith is Hassan Sahih. This is acted upon according to most of the people of knowledge. It is the view of Sufyan at-Thawri and Ash-Shafi. Some of them said that a share is given to the woman and the boy, and this is the view of Al-Awsa'i. Al-Awsa'i said, the Prophet gave a portion to the boys at Khaybar, and the Aima of the Muslims gave a portion to every child born in the land of war. Al-Awsa'i said, the Prophet gave a portion to the woman at Khaybar, and that was followed by the Muslims after him. This was narrated to us by Ali bin Kashram, who said, Isa bin Yunus narrated this to us from Al-Awsa'i, the meaning of his saying, they received something from the spoils of war. It is said that he conferred something on them, the woman, from the spoils of war. Great Sahih. Chapter 9. Does the slave receive a share? Narrated Umair, the freed slave of Abil Lam. I participated at Khaybar with my masters. They spoke about me to the Messenger of Allah and told him that I was a slave. He said, so he ordered me to take up the sword, and I found myself dragging it. So he ordered that I be given something from the goods. I presented a ruqya that I used to treat the possessed with. So he ordered me leave some of it and keep some of it. There is something on this topic from Ibn Abbas. This hadith is Hasan Sahih. This is acted upon according to some of the people of knowledge. A complete portion is not given to slave, but something is conferred upon him. This is the view of At-Fawri, Ash-Shafi, Ahmad, and Ishaq. Great Sahih. Chapter 10. What has been related about Al-Ad-Dimma fighting with the Muslims. Are they to receive a share of the spoils of war? Narrated Aisha that the Messenger of Allah advanced towards Badr till he reached Hara al-Wabr, where he was met by a man from the idolaters, about whom it was said he was brave and courageous. The Prophet said to him, do you believe in Allah and His Messenger? He said, no. He said, then return, because we do not seek aid from an idolater. The hadith has more dialogue than this, and this is a Hasan Gharib hadith. This is acted upon according to some of the people of knowledge. They say that the people of Ad-Dimma do not receive a share, even if they were to fight along with the Muslims against the enemy. Some of the people of knowledge said that they are given a share when they attend the battle with the Muslims. Great Sahih. It has been related by As-Suri that the Prophet gave a portion to some people among the Jews who fought along with them. This was narrated to us by Qutayba, who said, Abdul Warid bin Sayed narrated to us from Urwa bin Thabit from As-Suri. This hadith is Hasan Gharib. Narrated Abu Musa, I arrived upon the Messenger of Allah at Khaybar along with a group of the Ashari tribe. He gave us shared along with those that conquered it. This hadith is Hasan Sahih Gharib. This is acted upon according to some of the people of knowledge. Al-Awsa'i said, whoever meets up with the Muslims before the horses' share is distributed, then he is given a share. And Buraid's a narrator kunya is Abu Buraida, and he is trustworthy. Sufyan at-Fawri, Ibn Uyayna, and others report from him. Great Sahih. Chapter 11. What has been related about using the containers of the idolaters. Narrated Abu Falaba al-Kushani. The Messenger of Allah was asked about the pots of the Zoroastrians. He said, clean them by washing them and then cooking them. And he prohibited every predator and possessor of canines. This hadith has been reported through routes other than this from Abu Falaba. Abu Idris al-Kavlani reported it from Abu Falaba. Abu Kilaba did not hear from Abu Falaba. He only reported it from Abu Asma. from Abu Falaba, great Sahih. Another chain from Abu Idris al-Kavlani, Aydullah bin Ubaydullah, who said, I heard Abu Falaba al-Kushani saying, I went to the Messenger of Allah and said, O Messenger of Allah, we live in a land of the people of the book, and we eat from their containers. He said, if you find other containers, then do not eat from them. If you do not find them, then wash them and eat from them. Abu Isa said, this hadith is Hasan Sahih. Chapter 12, regarding the Nafil, an additional gift from the spoils of war that is given to particular fighters. Narrated Ubadah bin As-Samit. The Prophet used to confer a fourth of spoils of war in the early part of the expedition and a third during the return. There are narrations on this topic from Ibn Abbas, Habib bin Maslam, Man bin Yazid, Ibn Umar, and Salama bin al-Aqwa. This hadith of Ubadah is a Hassan hadith. This hadith has also been reported from Abu Salam, from a man among the companions of the Prophet. Great Sahih. Another chain from Ibn Abbas that the Prophet took his sword, Dul Fikar, on the day of Badr, and it is the one that he saw in the dream on the day of Uhud. This hadith is Hassan Gharib. We only know it from this route through the report of Ibn Abi As-Sinad. The people of knowledge differ over giving the Nafil from the Kumus. Malik bin Anas said, it has not reached me that the Messenger of Allah gave the Nafil during every expedition, but it has been conveyed to me that he gave the Nafil in some of them. That is according to the discretion of the Imam during the beginning of the division of the spoils or the end of it. Ibn Mansur said, I said to Ahmad, the Prophet gave the Nafil when he divided the fort after the Kumus, and when he was returning he gave the third from the Kumus. So he said, the Kumus is taken, and then the Nafil is given from what remains, nothing beyond this. Abu Isa said, this hadith is understood as Ibn Musayyab said, the Nafil is from the Kumus. Ishaq said as he said. Chapter 13. What has been related about whoever kills someone in battle, then his goods are his. Narrated Abu Qatada, that the Messenger of Allah said, whoever kills someone in battle, having a proof for that, then his goods are his. Abu Isa said, there is a story with this hadith. Great Sahih. Another chain with similar meaning. There are narrations on this topic from Auf bin Malik, Khalid bin al-Walid, Anas and Samura. This hadith is Hassan Sahih. Abu Muhammad is Nafi, the freed slave of Abu Qatada. This is acted upon according to some of the people of knowledge among the companions of the Prophet and others. It is the view of Al-Avsai, Ash-Shafi and Ahmad. Some of the people of knowledge said that the Imam takes kumis from those goods. At-Favri said, the Nafil is when the Imam says, "Whoever got something, then it is his. And whoever killed a fighter, then his goods are his." So it is allowed, and there is no kumis taken from it. Ishak said, "The goods are for the one who did the killing, unless it is something that is a large amount." So he saw that the Imam could take the kumis from that, just as Umar bin al-Khattab did. Chapter 14, about it being disliked to sell the spoils of war until it has been distributed. Narrated Abu Sa'id al-Khudri. The Messenger of Allah prohibited selling the spoils of war until it has been distributed. There is something on this topic from Abu Huraira. Abu Isa said, "This hadith is Gharib, Great Hassan." Chapter 15. What has been related about it being disliked to have intercourse with pregnant female prisoners. Narrated Habiba bint Irbad bin Sariya, from her father, who told her that the Messenger of Allah prohibited intercourse with female prisoners until they deliver what is in their wombs. Abu Isa said, "There is something on this topic from Ruwayfi bin Thabit, and the hadith of Irbad is a Gharib hadith. This is acted upon according to the people of knowledge." Al-Awsa'i said, "When a man purchases a slave girl from the captives and she is pregnant, then it has been related from Umar bin al-Khattab that he said, 'Do not have intercourse with a pregnant woman until she gives birth." Al-Awsa'i said, "As for the free woman, then the sunnah about them has passed, in that the iddah is observed. All of this was narrated to me by Ali bin Kushram, who said, Isa bin Yunus narrated to us from Al-Awsa'i, Great Hassan." Chapter 16. What has been related about the food of the idolaters. Narrated Qabisa bin Hulb, from his father, who said, "I asked the Prophet about the food of the Christians. He said, 'Do not allow food to put uneasiness in your chest, similar to the doubts of Christianity about it.'" Abu Isa said, "This hadith is Hassan, Great Hassan." Another chain with similar narration. This is acted upon according to the people of knowledge regarding the permission for the food of the people of the book. Chapter 17. About it being disliked to separate related captives. Narrated Abu Ayyub, that he heard the Messenger of Allah say, "Whoever separates between a mother and her child, then Allah will separate between him and his beloved on the day of judgment." Abu Isa said, "There is something on this topic from Ali. This hadith is Hassan Gharib. This is acted upon according to the people of knowledge among the companions of the Prophet and others. They dislike separating the captives, the mother and her child, the son and the father, and brothers. Great Hassan." Chapter 18. What has been related about killing captives and ransoming. Narrated Ali, that the Messenger of Allah said that Jibrail had indeed descended upon him to say to him, "Tell them," meaning your companions, "to choose regarding the captives of Badr, between either killing them or ransoming them, so that the amount killed by them will correspond similarly to them." So they said, "Ransom, ransom, even though some of us may be killed." There are narrations on this topic from Ibn Masud, Anas, Abu Barsa, and Jubair bin Mutim. Abu Isa said, this hadith is Hassan Gharib as a narration of At-Fawri. We do not know of it except through the report of Saida. Abu Usama reported similar to this from Hisham, from Ibn Sirin, from Abida, from Ali, from the Prophet. Ibn Awd reported it from Ibn Sirin, from Abida, from Ali, from the Prophet in Mursal form. Abu Dawud al-Hafiris, a narrator in this chain, name is Umar bin Saad. Great Daif. Narrated Imran bin Hussein that the Prophet ransomed 2 men for the Muslims with a man from the idolaters. Abu Isa said, this hadith is Hassan Sahih. The paternal uncle of Abu al-Muhallab's name is Abdur Rahman bin Amr, and they also say it was Muhawiyah bin Amr, and Abu Kilaba's name is Abdullah bin Said al-Jami, narrator in the chain. This is acted upon according to most of the people of knowledge among the companions of the Prophet and others. It is for the Imam to decide to be generous with whom he wills among the captives, or to kill whom he wills among them, or to ransom whom he wills among them. Some of the people of knowledge preferred killing over ransoming. Al-Absai said, it has been conveyed to me that this ayah is abrogated. Thereafter is the time either for generosity to free them without ransom, or ransom for the 7-4. It was abrogated by kill them wherever you find them. 291. This was narrated to us by Hanad, who said, Ibn al-Mubarak narrated to us from al-Awsa'i. Ishaq bin Mansur said, I said to Ahmad, when the captives are captured, is killing or ransoming better to you? He said, if they are able to ransom, then there is no harm in it, and if they kill, then I do not know of any harm in it. Ishaq said, wiping them out is better to me, unless it is someone well known, so that it is hoped that a large amount will be obtained for him. Great Sahih. Chapter 19. What has been related about the prohibition of killing women and children. Narrated Ibn Umar that a woman was found killed in one of the expeditions of the Messenger of Allah. So the Messenger of Allah rebuked that, and he prohibited killing women and children. There are narrations on this topic from Burayda and Rabah, and they say he was Riya bin Ar-Rabi, Al-Aswad bin Sari, Ibn Abbas, and As-Sab bin Jatfama. Abu Isa said, this hadith is Hassan Sahih. This is acted upon according to some of the people of knowledge among the companions of the Prophet and others. They dislike killing women and children. This is the view of Sufyan at-Fawri and Ash-Shafi. Some of the people of knowledge made an exception for killing the women who had children with them during night attacks. This is the view of Ahmad and Ishaq. They permitted it in night attacks. Great Sahih. Narrated Ibn Abbas. I was informed by As-Sab bin Jatfama, who said, I said, O Messenger of Allah, our horses trampled over women and children of the idolaters. He said, they are from their fathers. Abu Isa said, this hadith is Hassan Sahih. Great Sahih. Chapter 20. The prohibition of burning with fire. Narrated Abu Huraira. The Messenger of Allah sent us with an army and said, "If you see so and so, referring to two men from the Quraysh, then burn them with fire." Then upon our departure, the Messenger of Allah said, "I ordered you to burn so and so with fire, and indeed none purifies with fire except Allah, so if you see them, then kill them." There are narrations on this topic from Ibn Abbas and Hamza bin Amr al-Aslami. Abu Isa said, "The hadith of Abu Huraira is a Hasan Sahih hadith. This is acted upon according to the people's knowledge in this hadith." Muhammad bin Ishaq mentioned a man narrating between Sulaiman bin Yasar and Abu Huraira. Others reported this hadith the same as Al-Layth reported it here, without a man between them. The narration of Al-Layth bin Sa'd is more appropriate and more correct. Great Sahih. Chapter 21. What has been related about Gulul. Narrated Thawban. That the Messenger of Allah said, "Whoever dies and he is free of kibr, pride, gulul and debt, he will enter paradise." There are narrations on this topic from Abu Huraira and Sayd bin Khalid al-Juni. Footnote: Gulul refers to goods stolen from the spoils of war or concealed before it is divided among the soldiers. Great Sahih. Narrated Thawban. That the Messenger of Allah said, "Whoever's soul departs from his body while he is free, cons buried treasure, gulul and debt, then he will enter paradise." This is how Sayyid narrated it. Cons, while Abu Awana said in his narration, kibr, and he did not mention from Madan in it. But the narration of Sayyid is more correct. Great Daif. Narrated Simak Abu Rumail al-Hanafi. I heard Ibn Abbas saying, Umar bin al-Khattab narrated to me that he said, "It was said, O Messenger of Allah, so and so has been martyred." He said, "No, I saw him in the fire of garment. He pilfered from the spoils of war." He said, "Stand up, O Umar, call out that no one enters paradise except the believers 3 times. Abu Isa said, "This hadith is Hasan Sahih Garib." Great Sahih. Chapter 22. What has been related about women going out for war. Narrated Anas. The Messenger of Allah used to go to battle with Sulaim and other women with her from the Ansar, who would give water and attend to the wounded. Abu Isa said, "There is something on this topic from Ar-Rabi bin Muawid. This hadith is Hasan Sahih." Great Sahih. Chapter 23. What has been related about accepting gifts from the idolaters. Narrated Ali. From the Prophet that Kisra sent him a gift, so he accepted, and that kings gave him gifts and he accepted them. There is something about this from Jabir. This is a Hasan Garib hadith. Fuvair, a narrator in the chain, is Ibn Abi Fakita, whose name was Sayyid bin Ilaka, and Fuvair's kunya was Abu Jam. Great Daif. Chapter 24. About the gifts of the idolaters being disliked. Narrated Iyad bin Himar. That he gave the Prophet a gift or a camel. So the Prophet said, "Have you accepted Islam?" He said, "No." He said, "Then I have been prohibited from the subbed gift of the idolaters." Abu Isa said, This hadith is Hasan Sahih, and the meaning of his saying, I haven't been prohibited from the subbed gifts of the idolaters is their gifts. It has been reported about the messenger that he used to accept the gifts of the idolaters, while a dislike for that is mentioned in this hadith, and the implication is that this was after he used to accept from them, and then he later forbade their gifts. Great Hassan. Chapter 25. What has been related about the prostration of gratitude, sajda, shukr. Narrated Abu Bakr. The Prophet was met by some affair that made him happy, so he prostrated to Allah. Abu Isa said, this hadith is Hasan Garib. We do not know of it except from this route, as a narration of Bakar bin Abdul Aziz. This is acted upon according to most of the people of knowledge. They held the view that one could perform the prostration of gratitude, and Bakar bin Abdul Aziz bin Abi Bakra is Mukarib, average in hadith. Great Hassan. Chapter 26. What has been related about the assurance of protection granted by a woman and a slave. Narrated Abu Huraira, that the Prophet said, indeed a woman grants assurance of protection to a people, meaning it is to be honored from the Muslims. There is something on this topic from Hani, and this hadith is Hasan Garib. I asked Muhammad and he said, this hadith is Sahih. Kafir bin Ziyad. Kafir bin Ziyad heard from Al-Walid bin Rabah, and Al-Walid bin Rabah heard from Abu Huraira, and he is Mukarib, average in hadith. Great Hassan. Another chain from Hani, who said, I granted asylum for 2 men among my brother-in-laws. So the Messenger of Allah said, we grant security to whomever you have granted security. Abu Isa said, this hadith is Hasan Sahih. This is acted upon according to the people of knowledge. They permit assurance of protection by a woman. This is the view of Ahmad and Ishaq. They permitted the asylum of a woman and slave. It has been related from other routes, from Umar bin al-Khattab, that he permitted the asylum granted by a slave. One of the narrators of this last narration, Abu Muda, is the freed slave of Aqil bin Abi Talib. They also say that he was freed slave of Hani, and his name was Yazid. It has been related from Ali bin Abi Talib and Abdullah bin Amr that the Prophet said, the covenants of the Muslims are one. It covers the rest of them. Abu Isa said, according to the people of knowledge, the meaning of this hadith is that whoever gives assurance of protection among the Muslims, then it is valid to all of them. Chapter 27. What has been related about breaking treaties. Narrated Abu al-Faid. I heard Sulaym bin Amir saying, there was a treaty between Muawiyah and the people of Rome. He was making an expedition into their lands, so that when the period of the treaty expires, he would attack them. So when a man upon an animal or upon a horse said, Allahu Akbar, fulfillment, not betrayal, and it turned out to be Amr bin Abbas, Muawiyah asked him about that. He said, I heard the Messenger of Allah said, whoever has a treaty between himself and the people, then let him not violate the treaty. nor try to change it until its time has passed, or in retribution for a similar offense. He said, so Muawiyah returned with the people. Abu Isa said, this hadith is Hasan Sahih, great Sahih. Chapter 28. What has been related about for each person who betrays a treaty, there is a banner erected on the Day of Judgment. Narrated Ibn Umar. The Messenger of Allah said, indeed, the one who betrays will have a banner erected for him on the Day of Judgment. He said, there are narrations on this topic from Ali, Abdullah bin Masud, Abu Sa'id al-Khudri, and Anas. Abu Isa said, this hadith is Hasan Sahih. I asked Muhammad about the hadith of Suwaid from Abu Ishaq, from Umara bin Umair, from Ali, from the Prophet, who said, for every person who betrays there will be banner. He said, I do not know of this hadith being marfu, great Sahih. Chapter 29. What has been related about cessation for arbitration. Narrated Jabir. On the day of the battle of Al-Asab, Sa'd bin Mu'ad was struck by an arrow, such that the upper vein or lower vein of his forearm was severed. So the Messenger of Allah tried to stop it with fire, but it made his arm bleed profusely, so he left it. Then he did it another time, but it caused it to bleed profusely. Upon seeing that, he said, O Allah, do not allow my soul depart until my eyes are comforted by elimination of Banu Qurayza. He pressed his vein closed, and it did not bleed a drop before they surrendered to the arbitration of Sa'd bin Mu'ad. He, the Prophet, sent to him Sa'd, who judged that their men should be killed, their women should be spared, and that the Muslims may share them among themselves. With this, the Messenger of Allah said, you have judged according to Allah's judgment for them, and they were 400. Then when he finished killing them, his vein opened up and he died. He said, there are narrations on this topic from Abu Sa'id and Atiyah al-Qurasi. Abu Isa said, this hadith is Hasan Sahih, great Sahih. Narrated Samura bin Jundab, that the Messenger of Allah said, kill the elder men among the idolaters and spare the shark among them. And the shark are the boys who did not begin to grow pubic hair. Abu Isa said, this hadith is Hasan Sahih. Hajjaj bin Arta narrated similarly from Qatada, great Da'if. Narrated Atiyah al-Qurasi. We were presented to the Messenger of Allah on the day of the Battle of Qurayza. Whoever had pubic hair was killed, and whoever did not was left to his way. I was of those who did not have pubic hair, so I was left to my way. Abu Isa said, this hadith is Hasan Sahih. This is acted upon according to some of the people of knowledge. They considered pubic hair an indication of the age of responsibility. If it is not known whether he has had a wet dream or his age, this is the view of Ahmad and Ishaq, great Sahih. Chapter 30. What has been related about oaths of allegiance. Narrated Amr bin Shu'aib from his father, from his grandfather, that the Messenger of Allah said, during his khutbah, fulfill the allegiances sworn in Jahiliyyah for it. Meaning Islam does not add to them except in gravity, and do not initiate new allegiances in Islam. He said, there are narrations on this topic from Abdul Rahman bin Auf, Salama, Jubair bin Mutim, Abu Huraira, Ibn Abbas, and Qais bin Asim. Abu Isa said, this hadith is Hasan Sahih, great Hasan. Chapter 31, about taking the jizya from the Zoroastrians, narrated Bajala bin Abda. I was a scribe for Jas bin Muawiyah at Manadir when Umar's letter came to us saying, inspect the Zoroastrians around you to take the jizya from them, for indeed Abdul Rahman bin Auf informed me that the Messenger of Allah took the jizya from the Zoroastrians of Hajjad. Abu Isa said, this hadith is Hasan, great Sahih. Narrated Bajala that Umar would not take the jizya from the Zoroastrians until Abdul Rahman bin Auf informed him that the Prophet took jizya from the Zoroastrians of Hajjad. There is more dialogue in the hadith than this, and this hadith is Hasan Sahih, great Sahih. Narrated Malik from Asuri that Sa'ib bin Yazid said, the Messenger of Allah took the jizya from the Zoroastrians of Bahrain, and Umar took it in Persia, and Uthman took it from the Persians. I asked Muhammad about this, so he said, it is Malik from Asuri from the Prophet. Great Hassan. Chapter 32. What has been related about what is lawful from the wealth of Al-Ad-Dimma. Narrated Uqba bin Amir. I said, O Messenger of Allah, we come across a people, and they do not host us, and they do not give us our rights, and we do not take anything from them. So the Messenger of Allah said, if they refuse such that you can only take by force, then take. Abu Isa said, this hadith is Hasan. It has been reported by Al-Layth bin Sa'd from Yazid bin Abi Habib as well. This hadith only means that they would go out for battles, and they would pass a people among whom they would not find any food to buy for a price. So the Prophet told them, if they refuse to sell you such that you have to take it forcefully, then take it. This is how the explanation has been related in some of the ahadith, and it has been related that Umar bin al-Khattab, may Allah be pleased with him, would order similarly. Great Sahih. Chapter 32. What has been related about Hijrah. Narrated Ibn Abbas that on the day of conquest of Makkah, the Messenger of Allah said, there is no Hijrah after the conquest, there is only jihad and intention, and when you are called to go forth for battle, then go. He said, there are narrations on this topic from Abu Sayyid, Abdullah bin Amr, and Abdullah bin Hubshi. Abu Isa said, this hadith is Hasan Sahih. Sufyan at-Thawri reported it similarly from Mansur bin Mutamir, great Sahih. Chapter 34. What has been related about giving the pledge to the Prophet Sos. Narrated Yahya bin Abi Kathir. From Abu Salama, from Jabir bin Abdullah, about the statement of Allah Most High, Allah was pleased with the believers when they gave the pledge to you under the tree, 48:18, that Jabir said, we pledged to the Messenger of Allah that we would not flee, and we did not pledge to him for death. He said, there are narrations on this topic from Salama bin Al-Aqwa, Ibn Umar, Ubadah and Jarir bin Abdullah. Abu Isa said, this hadith is been reported from Isa bin Yunus, from Al-Awsa'i, from Yahya bin Abi Kathir, who said, Jabir bin Abdullah said, and he did not mention Abu Salama on it. Great Sahih. Narrated Yazid bin Abi Ubaid. I said to Salama bin Al-Aqwa, for what did you pledge to the Messenger of Allah on the day of Al-Hudaybiyah? He said, for death. This hadith is Hasan Sahih. Great Sahih. Narrated Ibn Umar. We used to pledge to the Messenger of Allah to hear and obey. So he would say to us, as much as you are able. Abu Isa said, this hadith is Hasan Sahih. Great Sahih. Narrated Jabir bin Abdullah. We did not pledge to the Messenger of Allah for death, but only that we would not flee. Abu Isa said, this hadith is Hasan Sahih, meaning both of the hadith are Sahih. Some of his companions pledged to him for death. They said only, we will not leave from in front of you as long as we are not killed, while others pledged him by saying, we will not flee. Great Sahih. Chapter 35. What has been related about violating a pledge. Narrated Abu Huraira, that the Messenger of Allah said, free will not be spoken to by Allah on the day of judgment, nor will they be purified, and for them is a painful torment. A man that gave a pledge to an imam, and if he gives to him, he fulfills it, and if he does not give to him, he does not fulfill it. Abu Isa said, this hadith is Hasan Sahih. Great Sahih. Chapter 36. What has been related about a slave's pledge. Narrated Jabir. A slave came to give the pledge to the Prophet for Hijrah, but the Prophet did not realize that he was a slave, so his master came. And the Prophet said, sell him to me. So he purchased him for 2 black slaves. After this, he would not take the pledge from anyone until he asked him if he was a slave. He said, there is something on this topic from Ibn Abbas. Abu Isa said, the hadith of Jabir is Hasan Garib Sahih. We do not know of it except as a narration of Abu As-Subair. Great Sahih. Chapter 37. What has been related about the woman's pledge. Ibn al-Munkadir heard Umayma bin Rukaika saying, I pledged to the Messenger of Allah along with some woman. He said to us, in as much as you are able and capable. I said, Allah and His Messenger are more merciful to us than we are to ourselves. Then I said, O Messenger of Allah, take the pledge from us. Sufyan, one of the narrators, said, meaning shake hands on it with us. So the messenger of Allah said, my statement to 100 women is like my statement to one. He said, there are narrations on this topic from Aisha, from Abdullah bin Umar, and Asma bint Yazid. Abu Isa said, this hadith is Hasan Sahih. We do not know of it except as a narration of Muhammad bin al-Munkadir, Sufyan at-Thawri, Malik bin Anas, and others reported this hadith from Muhammad bin al-Munkadir. Similarly, he said, I asked Muhammad about this hadith, and he said, I am not aware of a hadith other than this from Umayma bint Rukaika. There is another woman named Umayma who narrated from the Messenger of Allah. Great Sahih. Chapter 38. What has been related about the number of companions who participated in the Battle of Badr. Narrated Al-Bara. We used to say that the participants of Badr on the day of Badr were like the number of companions of Talut, 313 men. He said, there is something on this topic from Ibn Abbas. Abu Isa said, this hadith is Hasan Sahih. At-Thawri and others reported it from Abu Ishaq. Great Sahih. Chapter 39. What has been related about the Kumus. Narrated Ibn Abbas. That the Prophet said to a delegation from Abdul Qais, I order you to give the Kumus from your spoils of war. He said, there is a story with this hadith. Abu Isa said, this hadith is Hasan Sahih, Great Sahih. Another chain with similar narration. Chapter 40. What has been related about looting being disliked. Narrated Abaya bin Rifa from his grandfather Rafi bin Khadij, who said, we were with the Messenger of Allah on a journey, when the hasty people went rushing ahead to the sheep to cook them, while the Messenger of Allah was in the rear of the people. Then he passed the kettle and ordered that they be weighed. Then he distributed it between them and equated a camel to 10 sheep. Abu Isa said, Sufyan at-Thawri reported it from his father, from Abaya, from his grandfather Rafi bin Khadij, and he did not mention from his father in it. This was narrated to us by Mahmud bin Gailan, who said, Waqi narrated it to us from Sufyan, and this is more correct. Abaya bin Rifa heard from his grandfather Rafi bin Khadij. He said, there are narrations on this topic from Falaba bin al-Hakam, Anas Abu Rihana, Abu ad-Darda, Abdur Rahman bin Samura, Said bin Khalid, Jabir, Abu Huraira, and Abu Ayyub. Great Sahih. Narrated Anas, that the Messenger of Allah said, whoever plunders, then he is not of us. Abu Isa said, this hadith is Hasan Sahih Garib, as a hadith of Anas. Great Sahih. Chapter 41. What has been related about greeting the people of the book with salam. Narrated Abu Huraira, that the Messenger of Allah said, do not precede the Jews and the Christians with the salam, and if one of you meets one of them in the path, then force him to its narrow portion. He said, there are narrations on this topic from Ibn Umar, Anas, and Abu Basra al-Ghifari, the companion of the Prophet. Abu Isa said, this hadith is Hasan Sahih, and regarding the meaning of this hadith, do not precede the Jews and the Christians. Some of the people of knowledge said that it only means that it is disliked because it would be honoring them, and the Muslims were ordered to humiliate them. For this reason, when one of them is met on the path, then the path is not yielded for him, because doing so would amount to honoring them. Great Sahih. Narrated Ibn Umar, that the Messenger of Allah said, indeed, when a Jew gives salam to one of you, then he is only saying, Assalamu alaikum, death be upon you. So say, alaik, and upon you. Abu Isa said, this hadith is Hasan Sahih, great Sahih. Chapter 42. What has been related about it being disliked to live among the idolaters. Narrated Qais bin Abu Hasim from Jarir bin Abdullah that the Messenger of Allah sent a military expedition to Kafam. So some people living there sought safety by prostrating, but they were met quickly and killed. News of this reached the Prophet, upon which he commanded that they be given half of the akil, blood money, and he said, I am free from every Muslim that lives among the idolaters. They said, O Messenger of Allah, how is that? He said, they should not see each other's campfires. Great Daif. Narrated Qais bin Abu Hasim, similar to the narration of Abu Muawiyah, number 1604, but he did not mention in it from Jarir in it, and that is more correct. There is something on this topic from Samura. Abu Isa said, most of the companions of Ismail said, from Ismail, from Qais bin Abu Hasim, that the Messenger of Allah sent a military expedition, and they did not mention from Jarir in it. Hamad bin Salama reported similar to the narration of Abu Muawiyah from Al-Hajjaj bin Arta, from Ismail bin Abi Khalid, from Qais, from Jarir. He said, I heard Muhammad saying, what is correct is the narration of Qais from the Prophet in Mursal form. Samura bin Jundab reported that the Prophet said, do not live among the idolaters and do not assemble with them, for whoever lives among them or assembles with them, then he is similar to them. Great Daif. Chapter 43. What has been related about expelling the Jews and the Christians from the Arabian Peninsula. Narrated Umar bin al-Khattab, that the Messenger of Allah said, if I live, if Allah wills, I will expel the Jews and the Christians from the Arabian Peninsula. Great Sahih. Narrated Jabir bin Abdullah, Umar bin al-Khattab informed me that he heard the Messenger of Allah say, I will expel the Jews and the Christians from the Arabian Peninsula, and I will not leave anyone in it except a Muslim. Abu Isa said, this hadith is Hasan Sahih. Great Sahih. Chapter 44. What has been related about what the Messenger of Allah left behind. Narrated Abu Huraira. Fatima came to Abu Bakr and said, who will inherit from you? He said, my family and my son. She said, so what about me? I do not get inheritance from my father. So Abu Bakr said, I heard the messenger of Allah say, we are not inherited from, but I support those whom the messenger of Allah used to support, and I spend upon those whom the messenger of Allah spent upon. Abu Isa said, there are narrations on this topic from Umar, Talha, As-Subair, Abdur Rahman bin Auf, Saad and Aisha. The hadith of Abu Huraira is Hassan Gharib from this route. It is only reported with a chain by Hamad bin Salama and Abdul Wahhab bin Atta from Muhammad bin Amr from Abu Salama from Abu Huraira. I asked Muhammad about this hadith, and he said, no one is known to have reported it from Muhammad bin Amr from Abu Salama from Abu Huraira except from Hamad bin Salama. Abdul Wahhab bin Atta reported it from Muhammad bin Amr from Abu Salama and from Abu Huraira, and it is similar to the narration of Hamad bin Salama, and this hadith has been reported through other routes from Abu Bakr as-Siddiq from the Prophet. Great Hassan. Narrated Abu Huraira that Fatima came to Abu Bakr and Umar, may Allah be pleased with them both, to ask them about her inheritance from the Messenger of Allah. They said, we heard the Messenger of Allah say, I am not inherited from. So she said, by Allah, I will never talk to you two again. So she died having not talked to them. Ali bin Isa said, the meaning of not speaking to you two is never again regarding this inheritance, because you two are truthful. Great Hassan. Narrated Malik bin Avs bin al-Hadafan. I entered upon Umar bin al-Khattab, then Uthman bin Affan, As-Subair Abdur Rahman bin Auf, and Saad bin Abi Waqqas entered. Then Ali and Al-Abbas came disputing. Umar said to them, I ask you by Allah, the one by whose will the heavens and the earth are maintained, do you know that the Messenger of Allah said, we are not inherited from, what we leave is charity? They said, yes. Umar said, when the Messenger of Allah died, Abu Bakr said, I am the caretaker of the Messenger of Allah. So you and he went to Abu Bakr, and you sought your inheritance from the son of your brother, and he sought the inheritance of his wife from her father. So Abu Bakr said that the Messenger of Allah said, we are not inherited from, what we leave is charity. And Allah knows that he is truthful, innocent, instructing and following the truth. Abu Isa said, there is a lengthy story along with the hadith, and this hadith is Hassan Sahih Gharib as a narration of Malik bin Anas. Great Sahih. Chapter 45. What has been related about what the Prophet said on the day of the conquest. Verily, this is not to be battled over, and after today. Narrated Al-Harith bin Malik bin Al-Barsa. On the day of the conquest of Mecca, I heard the Prophet saying, this is not to be battled over after today, until the day of judgment. Abu Isa said, there are narrations on this topic from Ibn Abbas, Sulaiman bin Surad, and Muti. This hadith is Hassan Sahih, and it is a narration of Zakaria bin Abi Saida from Ash-Shabi. We do not know of it except from his narration. Great Hassan. Chapter 46. What has been related about the hour in which it is recommended to fight. It is recommended to fight. Narrated An-Numan bin Mukarin. I fought along with the Prophet, and if Fajr had begun, he would wait until the sun rose, and when it rose he would fight. And if it was the middle of the daytime, he would wait until the sun passed the zenith, and when it passed the zenith, he would fight until Asr. Then he would wait until he prayed Asr, then he would fight, he said. And it is used to be said during that time, the wind of victory was raging, and the believers would supplicate for their armies in their salat. Abu Isa said, this hadith has been reported from An-Numan bin Mukarin through a chain that is more connected than this. Qatada did not see An-Numan bin Mukarin. An-Numan died during the Khilafah of Umar. Grade Daif. Narrated Makil bin Yasar. Umar bin al-Khattab sent An-Numan bin Mukarin to al-Hurmusan, and he mentioned the hadith in its entirety. An-Numan bin Mukarin said, I participated in battles with the Messenger of Allah. So when he did not fight in the beginning, if the daytime, he would wait until the sun passed the zenith, and the wind of victory would rage, and victory would descend upon them. Abu Isa said, this hadith is Hassan Sahih. Al-Qama bin Abdullah, one of the narrators, is the brother of Bakr bin Abdullah al-Musani. Great Sahih. Chapter 47. What has been related about At-Tiyara, bad omens. Narrated Abdullah bin Masud, that the Messenger of Allah said, At-Tiyara is from shirk, and none among us it influences except that Allah will remove it with tawakkul, reliance. Abu Isa said, I heard Muhammad bin Ismail saying, Sulaiman bin Harb used to say about this hadith, and none among us it influences except that Allah will remove it with tawakkul, reliance. Sulaiman would say, to me this is a saying of Abdullah bin Masud. There are narrations on this topic from Sa'd, Abu Huraira, Habis at-Tamimi, Aisha and Ibn Umar. This hadith is Hassan Sahih. We do not know of it except as a narration of Salama bin Kuail. Shuba also reported this hadith from Salama. Great Sahih. Narrated Anas, that the Messenger of Allah said, there is no adva and no tiara, and I like fal. They said, O Messenger of Allah, what is fal? He said, a good statement. Abu Isa said, this hadith is Hassan Sahih, great Sahih. Narrated Anas bin Malik, that the Prophet used to like it when he set out upon an affair. If he heard, O directed one, O successful one, Abu Isa said, this hadith is Hassan Sahih Gharib, great Daif. Chapter 48. What has been related about the exhortation of the Prophet Sas regarding fighting. Narrated Sulaiman bin Buraidah, from his father, who said, when the Messenger of Allah Sas sent a commander of an army, he would exhort him concerning himself to have taqwa of Allah, and he would exhort him to be good to those who are with him among the Muslims, he would say, "Fight in the name of Allah, in the cause of Allah. Fight those who disbelieve in Allah, and do not steal from the spoils of war, or be treacherous, nor mutilate, and do not kill a child. When you meet your enemy among the idolaters, then call them to one of the three options or choices, whichever of them they respond to, then accept it from them, and refrain from them. Call them to Islam, and to relocate from their land to the land of emigrants. Inform them that if they do that, then they will have similar to what those who emigrated have, and from them will be required similar to what is required from those who have emigrated. And if they refuse to relocate, then inform them that they will be like the Bedouins among the Muslims, and they will be treated the same as Bedouins are treated. There is no war spoils or fai for them unless they fight along with the Muslims. If they refuse, then seek aid from Allah against them and fight them. And if you lay siege to a fortress and they want you to grant them covenant from Allah and the covenant of His Prophet, then do not grant them the covenant of Allah nor the covenant of His Prophet. Rather grant them your own covenant and the covenant of your companions. It will be better than breaking Allah's covenant and the covenant of His Messenger. And if you lay siege to the people of a fortress and they want you to lift the siege for negotiating upon the judgment of Allah, then do not stop, but rather make them surrender to your judgment. For you do not know if you will come upon the judgment of Allah regarding them or not. Or similar to that, Abu Isa said, there is something on this topic from An-Numan bin Mukarin, and the hadith of Burayda is a Hasan Sahih hadith. Great Sahih. Muhammad bin Bashar narrated to us, he said, Abu Ahmad narrated to us from Sufyan, who said, Alqama bin Martad narrated to us, and it is similar in its meaning, but he added in it, if they refuse, then take the jizya from them, and if they refuse, then seek aid from Allah against them. Abu Isa said, this is how it was reported from Waqi and others, from Sufyan and other. This is how it was reported from Waqi and others, from Sufyan, and other than Muhammad bin Bashar reported it from Abdur Rahman bin Mahdi, and he mentioned the matter of the jizya in it. Narrated Anas bin Malik that the Prophet would not attack except near the time of Fajr. So if he heard the adhan, he would refrain, and if not, then he would attack. So he listened one day and heard a man saying, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. So he said, upon the fitrah. Then he said, I bear witness that none has the right to be worshipped but Allah. So he said, you have departed from the fire. Great Sahih. Another chain with similar narrations, Abu Isa said, this hadith is Hasan Sahih.